Hi there, I'm kind of still under the weather. So yesterday I made that video which I was trying to explain how within the ranks of the Congolese army, the FRDC, we have spies or people who pass information to the M23 and also to the Rwandan government on the preparation and tactical moves of the Congolese army. Now, I've read some of your comments, and a lot of people from Rwanda especially are trying to basically say that I focus a lot on M23. And they go ahead to say that I do not talk or highlight the other more than 100 militias or rebel groups operating in the same region. And I'm going to answer that. The reason I do not focus on the others is because, one, they are not that much of a threat. Of course, that is subjective, right? So they are not a threat as compared to M23. Why am I saying that? M23 is a rebel group that back in 2012-2013 took over the whole Goma city and even the Goma International Airport. And that city, I said, is a city of 1 million people. That's how powerful they are.
The M23 seized large swathes of territory during an insurrection in 2012 and 2013, before its fighters were driven out by Congolese and United Nations forces.
M23 has intelligence, so they have methods of collecting intelligence. As I said yesterday, they have people inside the Congolese army in top ranking positions. They also have people in the Ugandan, Rwandan, and even the Burundi army. So you know that. M23 has advanced weaponry. And you remember last year in August, they even shot at this UN peacekeeping helicopter. A MONUSCO helicopter was shot using the same manpad that Rwanda used last week against that Congolese military jet. So that is how powerful M23 is. M23 is so powerful that if they were facing another weaker country like Burundi, or a weaker country like basically Malawi or even Zambia, they can take over that country. But you know, Congo has the 5th or the 6th most powerful army in Africa. So they are actually trying, only that they don't have a serious president, according to my own opinion. But M23 is such a threat that I have to keep talking about them. Look at their tactics. They capture strategic towns like Bunagana, border posts, and they close major highways to try to hamper or stop commerce or trade or flow of goods and people. So that is M23. These people have a long-term agenda of hiving off a section of Eastern Congo to create another country, or maybe append that section to the Rwandan country. So it's, you know, every time you talk of M23, in my mind, I usually see them as Rwandan soldiers. So it's a way of Rwanda trying to extend their borders into Congo. You know that. Because let's face it, Rwanda is a tiny country of 13 million people. Of course, with more than 6 of them living outside Rwanda and threatening to come back. So a country of 20 million people. But let's talk about the 13 million people. And it's a country full of hills. That's why it's called Land of 1,000 Hills. So there's no serious agriculture that can happen in Rwanda. The guys in Rwanda are actually starving. They barely get a meal a day. That's a fact. That's the fact you never know about Rwanda. But now the guys in Kigali and Paul Kagame, they see this real estate in Congo. And they ask themselves, what can we do to extend our borders to that side? What can we do to find ourselves sitting on top of those minerals on the other side? So it's a way of Rwanda trying to take over Congolese territory. And for most people, we see one side of the war. We see where the M23 are supported by Rwanda to try to, hive off or take over a chunk of Congo to create a new country or a new semi-autonomous territory. What we do not see is the other side where M23 are trying to play Rwanda. So they're saying that once we get support to take over this territory, we stop taking orders from Kigali. That's what they're saying or telling themselves. But they do not know that Paul Kagame already knows that. And he's ahead of them. And it is not the first time. He has done it before. So once they deliver that territory to him, he's going to make them disappear. And he's good at this. Because you recall back in 2006, he did the same thing to CNDP. He made Laurent Kunda disappear. He's at the ICC. He made John Bosco, I think, Tanganda disappear. Where is Tanganda? Now, let me be fair enough to talk about the other 100 also militias that these people are saying that I should also discuss to stop focusing so much on M23. So these militias, some of them we can classify them as freedom fighting militias. If we are going to talk about freedom militia, we have to ask ourselves, who was the invader? In this case, it was Rwanda. Now, it started in 1994. About 4 million refugees, mostly Hutus, went into Congo after that genocide. And the RPF, Kagame's army, decided to pursue them. And once they went to Congo, some of the men in those refugees decided to form a militia group to defend their women and children from Rwandan soldiers who are coming at night into those refugee camps to carry out what we can say revenge attacks. These attacks, where Rwanda kept violating Congolese borders, continued, despite international community asking Paul Kagame to stop. Now, eventually, the Banyamulenge people also joined Rwanda to start hunting down these Hutus, these FDLR. And the FDLR also approached Burundi, and in this case Congo, to get guns, and they formed a larger militia group of FDLR and started defending themselves. And these Banyamulenge started attacking neighboring Bantu communities like the Bembe and the Frero. And these Bembe then also got guns, formed their militias, and they called themselves the Mai Mai, and they started attacking Banyamulenge people, or the Tutsis in Congo. And that's what happened. That's why I'm saying some of them are freedom fighters, because you can see the problem came or originated from Rwanda. And some other problem came from Burundi. So that's why we have all these militias trying to defend their communities. We have militias like Raya Mutomboki. We have militias like the Mai Mai. We have a lot of them. Don't forget, we also have others from Uganda, like Joseph Kony's militia, for example, or the other Islamic militia called Allied Democratic Forces from Uganda. So there is a lot of militias as a result of that. But there is even a bigger problem. You see that south region where you find the Mai Mai militia, there's a bigger militia that has come up called Twigwaneho. And it's made up of Banyamulenge fighters with more than 1,200 fighters or soldiers. Why am I focusing on this Twigwaneho group? Is it because it is a Munyamulenge group? No, it's because it's getting international funding. So it's very soon going to be a headache. So last month, the US intercepted and froze an account with over $1.2 million, money that was supposed to be wired to South Kivu, to this militia. And this money was coming from the Banyamulenge diaspora. A lot of them, even the ones who are commenting on these videos, they were the ones who sent this money. And these guys, today we have a lot of Banyamulenge and Bamasisi, Congolese Tutsi refugees in Rwanda and Uganda, and some of them in Kenya. And they do apply to the UNHCR, UN High Commissioner for Refugees, to be relocated to the US or Canada or Australia, because they say that they are being pursued. I don't know by who. Because you can't be pursued by the Mai Mai. These guys are bandits. So they say they are pursued, and they go to this country, they work so hard, they save money, they crowdfund and send it back to this militia so that they can buy guns and continue attacking neighboring communities. But to finalize on this video, I'm not going to talk about all these 100 militias, because a lot of them are very not organized. None of them has the same capability as the M23, because none of them has a political agenda to create a new country in that region. As a matter of fact, a lot of them are bands of criminals. Most of them actually are bandits and cut rustlers, and none of them has the capability to even pull an international financing, get funds from the United States. So none of them has a political agenda. And of course, M23 wants to create a country in Eastern Congo, and Twigwaneho wants a governorate. They want to create a province of Banyamulenge, and the capital to be Uvira, and the governor to always come from the Banyamulenge community.
Ni lazima ikome, ni lazima wenye Rwanda wakome. Wakiendelea kuwaua wanajeshi wa serikali, na sisi tutajiprendre en charge. Itakuwa eye pour eye, da pour da. Hakuna vya kuoneleana tena huruma. Tumechoka s'il vous plaît.
Njo iko nauliwa. Anauliwa na wanani? Anauliwa na wageni walioleta uhasama wa vita katika nchi yetu.
Maana nataka kuniambia MONUSCO ndo imechangia sana kuleta vita hapa kwetu.
Mimi sijagusa kwa swala ya MONUSCO bwana. Nagusia kwa swala ya watu ambao wamejipenyeza kwa siri na kujibadilisha. Tunawajua ya kwamba wao ni Wanyarwanda, leo wamejibadilisha kwamba wao ni Wanyamulenge, ili kwamba waweze kujiingiza katika serikali ya nchi ya Kongo na kufanya uhasama. ule Gumino, Twigwaneho, Androide ya bwana makanika na Nyamusaraba na Rufora wanaua wale wanajeshi.